What's up, guys? We are back with another video. I want to thank you all for all the well wishes. I'm feeling at least 50% better today, which is great. Now, some people were actually a little bit mad at yesterday's video because it was a bit wild, and to those people I would just say get over it. As content creators, we can't always make the same content every time. You can't expect us to kick out 5 to 6 videos a week and not switch up the content, and sometimes we're going to be sick or on cough syrup or whatever, and we're just going to have to mix it up. So to those of you that thought it was funny, good for you. To those of you who it wasn't your thing and you just skipped the video and you're back today for something more serious, good for you. And for those of you that reached out to me that said you didn't like that content and you're unsubscribing, I would say that if you like 90% of my videos and don't like 10%, then just don't watch the 10%. It doesn't mean you have to totally unsubscribe, but that's just my 2 cents. So yesterday was kind of a funny one. It was a bit wild, but today's video was about strategy, and therefore it's important and much more serious. So let's get into it. The thing I want to discuss today was a question that I still actually get every single day. And I'm often surprised by it because it's second nature to me, but what I don't realize is that there's a lot of newbies coming to the system that need to learn these strategies, and there's people who've been in for several months that still don't understand the best way and the most effective way to go about this. And the questions I get all the time are, how often should I hydrate my faucet? And how often should I compound the garden? So I want to talk about both. I'll go through both my faucet, probably my faucet first, and then we'll go over and work on the garden. And I'm going to show you the tools I use that help me keep it dialed in and help me understand if the budget I'm using as far as gas fees is the most effective. Because that's really the name of the game here. You could hydrate or compound every 2 seconds if you wanted to, but if you're spending more on gas than what you're making, then you're going backwards, so it doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to show you my strategy and what I think is the most effective, and I'm going to give you the tools to check out so you can run your personal numbers and see what strategy is going to be most effective for you over the long term. Now, as your balance grows, these numbers will change. So what I'll do is I'll link the tools down below so you can save them on your desktop or in your favorites or whatever, because you're going to want to come back to those from time to time and recalibrate everything. When it comes down to it, this is an investment. You need to run it like a business. You need to manage them like traditional investments. So if you can squeeze out a few more percent here or there, then that's probably what you want to do. At least that's what I'm doing, but I'm also doing that because it fits my schedule. Right now, I'm able to go in and hydrate or compound on these intervals because I spend a lot of my time working on the computer throughout the day, so I can do it. For some of you folks, 1 hydration a day is all you're going to be able to do. For some of you folks, your account's not big enough to even do 1 a day, and you're going to be doing it every other day or every 3rd day. So anyway, I'll show you the calculators, I'll show you the tools, and I'll show you why from an ROI standpoint and a money-making standpoint, why this is the best strategy for me and how you can make a couple small tweaks and do it for yourself too. First off, let's start in the faucet. Quick little checkup, 3,700 in deposits. This is growing real fast. If you guys have a small balance, like I said, I started with probably 150 tokens, and it just starts to stack up over time. So if you're getting a little discouraged because you're not seeing these big numbers on the screen, just give it time. Now, I did notice that I got a new member to join the team, so they are in this 139. I just bought a few drip. I don't know if you guys are still doing it, but please participate in No Sell August. All you got to do is not sell your drip in the month of August, and I think they even lowered the threshold to like 50 drip. As long as you got 50 drip in the faucet, then you qualified. And then you qualify for Ray's big $10,000 airdrop that he's going to kick out to a good handful of people. You know, he'll choose a range of people, and then he'll kick that out. So just by hydrating and not selling, you're eligible for that big contest. And if you know Ray, he goes big on those airdrops, so you could end up getting, you know, $500 or something like that just dropped into your account overnight, just because you were being responsible as far as claiming and hydrating and all that. So that's exciting stuff. Once the video is over, so I don't bore you guys, I'll airdrop the new team member. If you want to join the team, you're welcome to. My link is down below. Every new team member gets a kickback. I'll airdrop you some funds in accordance and in relation to the amount of tokens that you deposited. So when you're trying to figure out how much you should hydrate, you need to take into account how many drip you actually have in the system. So I'm 3713 right now. You also need to look at the price. The price is currently $9.81. You need the price as well. Now, the best way to do it that I've found is a tool that's actually been around for quite a while. It's probably the easiest to use because it's not overly complicated and it's just been working. So if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? And that is drip-hydrate. Again, I will put the link down below. Now, when you come to drip.hydrate.com, it's going to probably auto default to the same information. I've seen it on a couple other people's computers and it just looks slightly different. So if yours looks just a tiny bit different, don't worry about it. Probably has to do with like the aspect ratios on your monitor or whatever. But let's go through it. This is the information that you need, and it's going to tell you how often to hydrate. This is the amount of drip in your faucet, okay? This is not the drip price. This is drip in your faucet. This is the drip price. This is the B&B price. You need to know that because gas fees are in B&B, obviously. And this is the amount that the gas is charging. Now this is variable. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen as low as 0.1 or 0.0015 lately, all the way up to 0.0032. It just depends on the time of day or whatever connection. There's a variety of factors, but that will make a big difference in hydrating. So what I would do is I would just pick a number in the middle. If you're slightly off one way or the other, then that's fine. And for the purpose of this exercise, 0.0025 is probably the mean. So I think we just stick with that, but I'll show you how just a slight manipulation of this will severely change the time of day you need to do that. So first things first, let's go figure out how many drip I have and what the drip price is. So for me, drip price is $9.82 and $37.13. Okay, you'll notice when I change these fields that the numbers will change below. So with $37.13 in my drip balance, drip price is currently $9.82. We need to go out and find the B&B price. And to do that, you can just do a basic Google search. All right, Binance coin just on the Googs here is 309.21. So let's plug that in, 309.21. All right, now the gas fees, like I said, are 0.0025. We can probably just leave it there, but with these metrics right here, it's telling me that with the amount of drip I have, the most efficient way to hydrate would be for me to hydrate every 4 hours and 49 minutes, or equivalent to 7.458 drip. And the way you have to think about it is it's just looking at the relationship between the gas fees and then how much you're making. So let's say you have $50 total on the faucet, right? Which is about 5 tokens. So you're making 50 cents a day. Now, if the gas fee is more than 50 cents a day and you were to hydrate every single day, then you would eat your entire profit up with the gas fee. So it wouldn't really make sense to hydrate every day for someone with that low of an account balance. That's why this calculator is so important, because as your drip balance changes and as the B&B price changes, all these metrics will end up being different. And therefore the appropriate time frame, or I guess the time frame to hydrate that is the most beneficial for you, will always be variable. So I will say, don't bother yourself with jumping in here every day and trying to find the exact right time, because like I said, let's tweak this real quick. 0.0015 would change this to 2 hours and 53 minutes. So way different, 4.4 drip. That's like 40% less, right? Now, if we were to up the gas fees to 0.0032, which is about as high as I normally see it, now it's 6 hours and 10 minutes, 9.546 drip. So getting this right every single time is not realistic because it's such a variable number. So what I would recommend doing is maybe as you're hydrating over maybe like a week-long period, is monitor this and then just pick something in the middle. So let's jump over to my balance real quick and just see how close we are. If I click hydrate here, it's got my estimated gas at 0.003. If I go back here and change that to 0.003, it tells me that I need to hydrate every 5 hours, 47 minutes, or 8.949 drip. And right now I don't have 8.9 drip, I have 6.9 drip. So I'm getting relatively close, another hour or two and I should have that. So what I'll probably do is just come in and hydrate at the end of the video. That way I can remember to airdrop the team and I will move on from there. So some of you guys will say, well, can't I just hydrate once a day? And I would say as long as you have a reasonable size balance, I guess maybe 50 drip tokens or more, then once a day is absolutely just fine. It's definitely not going to hurt you per se, but here's what happens. This money over here isn't earning any money. It's just sitting there like it's sitting in your bank account, getting hit with inflation in regard to what the US dollar value is. I don't really want a lot of money sitting here. I see people rack up huge balances here over a week-long period, so when they hydrate, it's just like this big fat stack. I actually do not really understand that, because what I want to have happen is I want the money that's sitting here over here earning 1%. I want to maximize my gains. And if I got money sitting in my little savings account over here, really just getting inflated away in terms of USD value. And for that reason, I hydrate around 4 times a day. So here in just a moment, this number will increase. I'm gonna go ahead and hydrate and put it over here because I want my $1 per day on about this $70, or my 1% per day on this $70. And if I let it sit over here, I'm earning nothing. So that's why I hydrate in accordance with this calculator. You don't necessarily have to, but I am trying to maximize my ROI. So that's why I'm doing it. Plus, like I said, I have the time to do it because as I'm working throughout the day, I'll pop this up, realize where I'm at, and get a quick hydrate going. If you're out doing construction work or whatever, and you know, for whatever reason, maybe you're using a ledger, you don't have it on your phone, you're not going to be able to do that. So you might, once you get a good balance up, you might do one hydrate when you come home for dinner and one hydrate when you get up in the morning. Again, this number is completely dependent on what you find in the calculator here, depending on how many drip you have, what the current drip price is, what B&B is currently trading for, and then also the gas fees on that in particular transaction, which will change consistently. So that's why I said just pick a number in the middle. So hopefully you understand that part, and that's just drip. So go to this calculator, plug your information in, do it for about a week, figure out kind of what that medium time frame is, and then do that for the next month or so until your balance is higher, or if drip's price goes crazy or B&B price goes crazy, that will change. And then from then on, just check it once a month or once every other month to make sure that you're being efficient with your hydrations and compounds. Gas fees jump around a little bit, especially with the B&B price. So you're probably paying between, I don't know, 40, 50, maybe 50 and 90 cents per transaction. So just be aware of that. But in the garden, it's even a lot cheaper. So let's jump to the garden first. Now we can look at both. I'll have both up here just because, I don't know, some people are still using the old one, some people are using the new one. The reason I like the old one is it's got my plants growing at the top nice and bold. I want to see the contract balance down here. I'm just not as concerned about it as my own plants. It's the opposite on the new one. So you've got your contract balance here, and my plants are tucked down here, right here. So as you can see, I have personally 835,000 plants. Now this one is a little bit different. With the garden, I base my compounds completely dependent on what the seed value is that's reflected in USD. That's just my personal preference. So some people will say, hey, how many plants do I need to have to compound? Like how many plants should I add up before I go in and actually compound my garden? Well, I can tell you right now that it's right around 1,800 plants is when I would do it. I want this to be over $10. But there's constant decay in the garden. So this number here is going to change, the number of plants that equal the dollar amount. So I wouldn't focus on that at all. I would just focus directly on this number here. And if you do that, the calculation is much simpler because the amount of plants you have doesn't really make any difference. Whether you have 8,000 plants or 800,000 plants, you don't want to cycle it until you're somewhere in the range of $10. Now it can be a little bit less or a lot more, it doesn't matter. You're not really wasting a ton of money here. That's just my personal preferences right in that $10 range. And that's because the gas fees in the garden are only like 5 to 8 cents per compound. That is super, super cheap. So you're not really taking a big hit to be able to cycle this and put it back in here. And that's the same scenario. These right here, they're not really earning anything. I want to earn 3.3% on these. So I want to put those back up into my balance up here so I can start producing additional seeds and creating additional LPs. That's my goal. So while there's not a specific tool to calculate the best time to do it, for me, it's the $10 mark here. So that's what I would focus on, and that obviously means that I need to cycle this real quick. So let's do that. Okay, as you can see, it took my available plants and it stuffed them up here. Now I have 837,000. Now the tool that I use to monitor this is DevStreak's tool, drip.community.finance on the garden tab. I've got the extra features, which I think are $5, but they're totally worth it. It tells me a lot of details. So let's refresh this. And according to the tool, it's got my plants updated, 837,000. I'm making $157 per day basically, but more important, I'm making 14.19 LPs. I want these LPs because I'm going to take these out and I'm going to plug them into the farm, the drip.USD farm when it opens, and I'm going to utilize that to make pigs because I want more pigs in the pig pen. I've got over that a ton of times. If you guys want more clarification on that, I can maybe make a specific video on that because that stuff's going to be real important here in about 6 weeks when everything pops back open again. So I'm currently making one plant about every 3 seconds, and I grew my balance. I didn't start with a very big balance. I've DCA'd several times. I put in a few $100s the other day. I put in at least another 150, I think, on Monday. So obviously my goal is to grow this balance well above $1 million. That way, when I'm pulling some of these funds out, I'm not taking a huge hit and making a huge impact on the productivity of my garden for the long term. I don't want the decay to catch up with me. So what I'm going to do is compound, do the occasional claim, and then I'll take those funds that I claimed, basically the LPs, and I'm going to stuff them over into the farm. That way I can make some additional funds there. So with this, it's all about utilizing the ecosystem and the way it was designed to use for you to make the most money. And in case you miss it, the alpha that's been dropped lately, you want pigs in the pig pen because that's going to earn you BUSD. You want to stake dogs in the dog pound or whatever it's called because that's going to earn you BNB. If you continue to pile assets in there and stake them, you're earning BNB that'll give you all the gas fees that you need, plus extra if you need to spend it. You're earning BUSD, which is basically dollars that you can transfer out and utilize to pay your bills or whatever without having to convert it through a bunch of different currencies. And with those two things alone, you can produce everything you need. The important thing to remember is all these other tools in the ecosystem, including the drip faucet, which is where you should have your biggest position. Those are the foundation. That's where the money comes from that you want to generate that you can put in so you don't have to sell the assets, whether it be pigs or dogs. So that is my 2 cents on how that works and why I've designed the strategy that I use and the way that I use it. I will put the links to those tools down below so you can actually check them out. If you haven't seen them before, they are fantastic tools to be able to set up your personal strategy. If you like content like this, and if you guys want some more, beginner type videos that help break down some of the nuances that have to do with the drip network or the animal farm or the ecosystem, I'm happy to do them. Just comment below and let me know what you want most. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy investing.